educators. This is Lauren with I Teach Teachers Tech, and I have something that I am super excited to share with you today. I have been working very hard and learning about all the different ways to unpack standards and decode standards to ensure that we as teachers are truly teaching what the standards intended. And so we are ensuring that our students are receiving the instruction that they need in order to master those standards. So what I have put together, and this is for second grade ELA based on the North Carolina adoption of the Common Core state standards. So in 2012, North Carolina adopted the Common Core standards straight up. In 2018, they made a few tweaks. Really didn't change the intention of the standards much. It was more so making them either a little bit more specific or a little bit less specific. In the user guide for these standards, I have included a crosswalk in case you are not from North Carolina but still want to use this resource. It'll still be very beneficial to you. So this is what I have prepared for every single standard for North Carolina second grade. This is ELA. What I noticed as I was going through and unpacking these standards is that some standards actually have two parts. So when you are going through these and you see part 1 and part 2, that is what that is referring to, because if it's got multiple pieces and parts to it, we need to make sure that we're addressing all of that. So you'll see that for each one of the standards, it has been unpacked based on the skills and the concept. So this is generally how, as educators, we're taught to unpack a standard, but I have gone much more in depth. So you have the standard number up here as well as the standard description, unpacked by skills and concepts, but then I've also unpacked it based on depth of knowledge. And so depth of knowledge really gets to the heart of what type of thinking we are having our students do when they are completing the tasks that we are asking them to do in order to show mastery. So based on this standard right here, ask and answer questions to demonstrate understanding of key details in a text, we're asking the students to show and share. And so the skill that is involved and that is necessary to be able to complete that task is that our students have to use information and basic reasoning. When we're asking them to respond, and in their response, they have to establish something and explain with examples. So based on the depth of knowledge, task, skill, and response, we can classify this standard as a DOK level 2. Okay. How does that help us? Well, when we are designing learning activities and we're designing our instruction and we are kind of brainstorming what questions we want to ask, this tells us at what thinking level we need to be asking those questions and designing those activities. It also helps us understand better how to scaffold for those students who may not be performing at that level yet. I've also provided you with students will be able to, students will understand, students will be skilled at. So this is all talking about, how students are able to should be able to transfer their learning, what they'll need to understand and be able to do, what they will know once they have mastered the standard. I've also provided some learning intentions for you as well as some sample I can statements in case those are things that you are required to have on your board. And then finally, I have provided some essential questions that will help you address all of this information that's at the top of the card. The second thing that I have given you for each one of the standards is some evaluation information. So I have provided the evaluation criteria for the thinking aspect as well as the skill aspect. So you've got a couple of evaluation criteria here for each one of your standards. I've then given you some ideas for some performance tasks. So these are things that the students can do to show you their level of mastery or where they are in their understanding of that standard. And then finally, I've provided some on-level DOK learning activities as well as some below-level activities in case you do need to scaffold. And then there is a place at the bottom of each page, or bottom of each second page of the standard, for you to just jot down some notes or some ideas as you're reading through all of this. So as you can see, every single standard comes with 2 pages worth of information. I think this would be great to have with you on a mobile device, or even if you want to print it into a notebook, if you're able to print front and back to save some paper. But I think this would be a great resource to have in PLC meetings and grade level meetings. And it's just really good for you as an educator to truly understand what it is that the standards mean, what they contain, and how you should teach it. So I would love your feedback if there's anything that you think needs to be added, or anything that you'd like to see in the future as far as these standards go. I will say that I am starting with ELA and working through the grade levels, and then I'll move on to math, and then science, and then social studies. So definitely be on the lookout, and my Teachers Pay Teachers store and notifications on my website. I would love for you to join the mailing list for my website, iteachteacherstech.us. That way you can be notified when new content comes out. So thanks, and have a great day.